Today's video is a video example of a one-session result. For my guest today, I have Dr. Calvin Tam. That's on this video and the next clip over. Calvin is a good friend of mine that has been working out with me for the past year and a half. He's also been one of my self-defense students for the past year and a half. And he's also become my personal and most favorite dentist for the past year. Amazing guy and a great part of my life. I'm very privileged to have him around. I was also very honored when Calvin said to me that he wanted to make a transition or a change in his lifestyle in order to start generating more energy, just to feel stronger, just to feel more alive. Because, you know, as we get older, sometimes all of that energy that we had in our 20s doesn't always cross over to our 30s, 40s, 50s, and so on. And when Calvin made that decision, a big part of that decision process for him was to not only get to the gym and eat good food and drink lots of water and get great sleep, which is what he's been doing. The fifth part is being able to cut out certain foods and beverages in our lives that don't serve us during that transitional time of, hey, I want to have a great body. I want to feel good about myself. I want to feel extra good. I want to feel more alive, more energetic. You know, there's a time period for having junk food per se, or junk beverages, stuff that tastes good, that doesn't really serve us. And there's a time for just being able to cut that stuff out of our life. And this just happened to be one of those times where Calvin said, you know what, certain things I would just like to have out of my life for now, at least. So when Calvin came and approached me, he said, you know what, Alan, I don't drink very much at all, but when I do, it's usually maybe a light beer, maybe two. And I love having it during times of dinner, you know, when I'm having steak or I'm just having a really good meal. Sometimes it just feels good to have a light beer just to wash it down. And that makes sense. I mean, who doesn't enjoy a nice cold beer once in a while, right? Well, in terms of enjoyment for food, beer is fantastic. In terms of making a transitional change in our bodies, sometimes beer could be the very thing that separates where we are to where we want to be. And just like many of us that have tried using willpower to make the change, willpower is nice, and sometimes it even works. For many of us, however, willpower can last a day, a week, a month, maybe even a year. But eventually, for most of us, that old habit, in this case drinking beer, can sometimes sneak back into our lives during times that we don't want to have it there. So the video that you're about to see is an end result example of about a 30-minute session in Calvin's car. And all we did was we practiced a few mental exercises that helped Calvin connect an attachment, an emotional attachment from beer to something that he really didn't like. And the end result of that was creating an automatic response in the back of the brain where every time Calvin even thought about having a beer, all of a sudden he felt mildly repulsed. Now think about it. If you're trying to get rid of a habit in your life, let's just say it's smoking, for example. And I use smoking because a lot of people out there tell me all the time, oh, Alan, I really want to smoke. I really want to quit smoking, but I don't know how to quit smoking because I still love it, right? If you pick up that smoke or that beer or whatever it is that you're trying to get rid of, and if just thinking about having it makes you feel good, then how is it going to be possible to get rid of that habit, right? Before we ever try to get rid of that external thing, we first have to try to make the change here inside the back of our head. So to do that, I spent about 30 minutes with Calvin. I did those exercises with him, which I'll explain in a different video. And the end result is what you're about to see. What you're about to see is the end result of the exercises, which is Calvin just thinking about the beer. There was no beer in the car. We're just talking about beer. I was just getting him to think about beer. And just the thought of it already made him feel emotionally disgusted or turned off or just not in the mood to have that. Now think about how effective that could be. If without even having that product there, AKA the smoke, pot, beer, you know, the cheat meal, whatever it is, if the thought of it already turns you off, how much more effective is it going to be when it's in front of your face and you know you shouldn't have it, and instead of normally wanting it, your mind and your body is all of a sudden in that place of going, you know what, I can pass. This next video is going to show you how effective just one session can be for anyone who's seriously determined and willing to try something different, try something new in order to get the results they want. And once you're done watching the video, ask yourself, is this kind of result something that could definitely positively impact and benefit you? Enjoy the video, ask any questions that you like, and I'll see you at the end of this video. All right, so I'm hanging out here with Mr. Calvin, and we are talking about cold beers, his favorite. Right? No? What do you mean ruined it?
Ruined it. I don't want it anymore.
Okay, he's saying that now. I got a feeling that when he goes home tonight, he's gonna want that nice, cold Stein lemon wedge. Bring it right up to his lips beer. Oh, what's going on? What's that? Do you have to burp?
No.
What is it?
Got me gagging a little.
I got the man gagging. I make men gag.
I know. Don't run down Davey saying that. You might get kidnapped.
You do have a point. That scares me. So the ultimate test for tonight is when he goes home to drink his beer, because he loves his beer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. Nice.